You see, built out of these big square
That was the
stones.
church.
That was destroyed.
Yeah.
Well, that was the old Methodist church.
Yeah.
But they used a wooden one after that. They built the one like right there where it
They
is.
built after that.
But our church was built out of, the Anglican church was built out of the same big square stones, and that was destroyed.
They blew down plenty.
And the rectory, we call it, the house where the priests lived, that was there. That didn't blow down, and we kept church in it for a few years before we really got around to building another one. And Lord, what else?
Were you scared?
It's a lot more.
Were you scared?
Not then, but ever since, I mean. Every time I hear about Oregon coming now, I'm a bit upset, but
A lot of people were frightened during this storm. I'm sure.
So, quite a few people lived on the house roofs after that.
yeah, there was somebody's house roof was on the playground there, right near our
On the
house,
back road, somebody lived on the house roof there.
up down at Preston Corey
Yeah, down
property
through
where he
there,
lived.
down through there.
But there was somebody's roof, and a couple of families had to sleep under it because they didn't have anywhere else to live.
But I'll tell you this much, they brought law amongst the people, what they never had before. They had law before, but they just had law after that. They had Christian law after that. Yeah. Oh yeah. You could hear them praying and singing like that. And I would like to see another one like that. No way.
It's the
Biggest
worst
one
one.
ever here.
It's the worst one I've ever seen.
Yeah.
None of the others was although preparations was made for a lot of the others, but
We
then that one was still worse than any, because some houses, what's here now, would have been gone. They couldn't take what happened in 1932, I reckon.
house was right there, blew down, just on the other side, what you used to call Mr. Ryan's house, blew down.
Yeah,
And let me say this, they used to washing tubs in, and what they call slop pay for the carry nighttime in. Some of them was found over in the mainland, over in Treasure Key and the carpet over there. That's how much they took them and blew them across the passage over there. I
Across
seen
the
them
what?
over there. I seen them over there hunting,
the
yeah.
man was laid out in his coffin
Right,
down
Mr.
there,
Ryan.
and the next day the coffin was found a couple hundred feet out on the beach with him in it.
That was Uriah Saunders.
Yeah,
Uriah Saunders.
Yeah, I tell you.
And according to David Bethel, this house was bought from a Uriah Saunders, but he thinks it was a different Uriah Saunders.
So this is Uriah Saunders.
This man had died and was in his coffin. Ended up out in
Near
out of
the
his
beach,
house.
yeah.
On the beach.
But Oregon Floyd, neither house blew down,
No,
not one.
and there are, at that time, it still is, some houses who couldn't take 1932
Look at
Oregon.
these old houses, a couple of old houses going down the dock, yeah, right now, going down to the dock, this road.
They
yeah.
couldn't take
They
it,
couldn't take it, not Oregon Floyd. I mean, not Oregon
32,
32.
no.
The,
No way.
the boat that bought the truck.
No, I can't remember that.
Was that the Lady Cordeaux?
Say that
Yeah, I
again?
believe that, the Lady Cordeaux, I believe that's the boat.
What's
Lady
that?
Cordeaux,
What?
Lord brought the truck.
Oh, I don't
She
remember,
bought some
I don't remember
supplies.
that.
I believe that's the boat.
The
That's
Lady
his boat.
Cordeaux
It
left,
sounds familiar,
Right.
but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
according to Mr. Silas Cash, 3,012 houses have been damaged. That's the whole Marsh Harbor area. Water rose over the settlement to a height of 8 feet. It was worse than the tidal wave that swept over the settlement in 1926.
That was March Harbor.
Yeah, well, I
Yeah.
believe
I know
that,
about that.
But the
because
Lady Cordeaux came
in 32,
here.
No, that was 1920, I heard about that.
19 what?
That was 1926, they talking about.
But then it was the Cordeaux who came here after 32, wasn't it? The same boat? No?
I don't remember the name of the boat, but I
Do you know,
know.
David? Was that?
Well, according to that article, it was the Lady Cordeaux that came after, she came September 16th, is when she got to Green Turtle Cay.
Right.
The name is familiar to me, but I don't remember.
And she bought supplies,
Yeah.
okay? And when you said about the truck, I didn't know anything about a truck. but
Yeah,
she
I bought a truck, I remember,
She
'cause we
bought
had no-
food and grain and things like that. And also, she took people back to Nassau that wanted to go, maybe they were injured. But it's a list of people that she asked there also that went back to Nassau on that boat.
And apparently it's low over there, so it was all flooded where you were talking about getting up to the quarry, and there was damage at this end of town, but you couldn't get across the water. If you were stuck over this side.
If you were on this side, you couldn't get across to go up there.
And it was
By the
dangerous here because roofs were falling,
Right.
flying at people, and people were dying. And Dr. Kendrick's house
Yeah.
was a haven for about, am I right, David, 100 people?
I don't know how many, but I know
So
quite a
that's
number
so-
of people
what
were
about
there.
A lot of people ended up in Dr. Kendrick's house,
Yeah.
which was the Neville Chamberlain house down
We
there.
had nearly every couple of tree blow down. Nearly every one after I got only one standing. Yeah. And we got some down there right now, nearly I could say 75 foot tall, and then blow down Hurricane Floyd down there at the tank. You see them tall, but then Hurricane Floyd, they didn't even blow
Oh,
down.
Hurricane Floyd was a joke too.
I tell you. Well, you ain't gotta go. I saw one in Lee trying to man see some percent. I saw one in Street Leaf.
Well, that wasn't true. I don't believe that,
living on
but
the island.
I guess it blew hard enough. It hit him hard enough to hurt him.
Oh,
But I don't know whether it hurt him more.
Did either of you know any of the casualties, any of the people who died on the?
I know some of the people here.
I know.
but
I know quite a few. I know some of the people. You know, Mr. Jimmy, Ansley, one.
Yeah, I know. I know. Miss Visa
I remember that.
Miss
Yeah,
Visa's hospital.
yeah, I remember
Yeah.
that.
That was Madeline and Hartman's.
Oh, that was belonged to. I don't know. I believe Manor belongs to Mr. Jimmy. I don't.
Yeah. He was a tailor.
Yeah,
One
right.
tailor.
Mr. Taylor. Yeah.
And the two men, boys killed out here were Scott and Martha's
Yeah, they're the two.
uncles.
They're the two what got killed.
They were
DeVries,
uncles.
DeVries, and
I forgot what the other one name.
Red, not Red.
Wasn't Red, because Red was.
DeVries and what's his name? Scott.
I know the man. But the man was named Levy.
DeVries was the oldest one.
Right. Yeah.
And Bert Lowe's grandmother.
Yeah.
Wait,
Uh,
who's grandmother?
Bert Lowe's grandmother.
Wait from Low grandmother.
Mhm.
That was yeah, I know what.
Alice.
What was the name?
Alice.
Whose grandmother?
Is it? So that's true.
Yeah.
She did die in, yeah.
Whose mother it was?
In the hotel.
She was in the hotel? Does your family remember about it or talk about it? What do we know?
I can't remember her name.
What was it? But
Alice.
Alice? That was your grandmother?
Yeah, and my grandfather was pinned for 3 days before they could get him out. He was standing up, and the stones were around him.
Which house was it?
The old hotel,
Oh,
not the New Plymouth Inn.
right.
When you go through the main entrance, that was the entrance to the old hotel, which was the second oldest hotel in the Bahamas. It was built during the pineapple days.
Well, you all got to excuse me. I got to go to another meet, rather than meet to the church.
Okay.
And I'll
So
stay
thank you
longer.
very much.
Yeah.
My grandfather,
Some old women, they look pretty too. Look at this.
I know him, but I just forgot his name.
That's a good question, Frank. I want to ask you a question.
Some of you have some questions, I know. Yes.
How many people were living on the island in 32?
It wasn't more than 200. I don't
Let's
think.
stop a second because we need to repeat the question so everybody can hear. How many people were living on the island in 1932 about? Any idea?
Approximately 300.
between 300 and 400. 300?
I don't know if it was. It wasn't as much as 4, but it was a little over 3, I guess.
How long did it take to kind of recover so you're back to normal? A year or?
Yeah, or more.
Yeah.
More than that.
Was there an exodus of people?
Beg pardon?
Did people leave? Or did most people over here stay?
No. I don't remember people leaving who belong there. But
Some of the families moved to Nassau and to Miami.
from here,
Yeah.
right after the hurricane, because of the hurricane.
Right. They
I
didn't
don't
have any
remember that.
houses to live in, and so they had to go to relatives in Nassau.
I don't remember that. I don't remember that.
They built hurricane huts after that.
Oh yes, a number of them.
Right away or,
Right? Yes, as they can, you know.
yeah. And can you tell everybody what those looked like? What were they?
Little, some of them was about half the size of this room. But they were built very strong, you know, had big posts down in the ground and fastened to those, you know. And I don't know if any of them were bigger than half the size of this room.
Or even smaller?
Yes, there were some smaller.
Do any of you have a memory of having been in one?
I think.
Oh, tell us.
Remember, they
tell
were
us.
small. Doghouse not bigger than what to me what they was. Because the doghouse are big, honestly. I went in some of them. I read the road where Nigel lived. You're right up in that area there.
Up on the hill.
Up
Yeah,
until there. Up until that road there.
And they were by
The-
family.
The name of that road now is the Hurricane House Road.
That's right, that's how we
That's the
know it.
name of it.
They're just little houses.
And was it Betsy or when? No, let me think. When were you in one?
I don't remember what year. Could have been Hurricane. Which year was Hurricane Betsy?
That was
She used to
65.
hide there.
When she was bad.
And Betsy.
I was born in 57, so.
Scott Lowe told me that he was in one in Betsy in 65. He remembers that. So they were there from 33, 32, 33 on, and they're all gone now.
Could have been that one.
What were they made out of?
Wood.
Wood. They were little tiny.
Wood, I remember one was,
Tiny houses.
they had an underground cellar and another house built on the top of it.
Wow.
And you could go down the stairs in the ground, underground.
Wow.
If
So why are there none now?
People build houses on it now.
nobody, all the houses were built
They
from
have
then on.
insurance.
They built them strong enough.
So they feel that all the houses here
Yeah.
now can withstand
Yeah.
everything.
In that area now, I mean, people buy that property, it's not government owned anymore, right? People bought that property in that area now, they build.
I don't think
It
it
was
ever was
government owned when
government.
they
I don't know, but
No, it was always private.
private.
Oh, it was?
Build houses.
Okay. And each hut was private. It was somebody's house.
Yeah,
So
but-
if you didn't have one, you didn't get to go there. But of course, the warnings got better after
Yes.
You been
After
able to- 32.
Yep, radio and television reports on hurricanes since then, so everybody look out for it. You get the houses battened in time before it comes. So now, you know, if hurricane was coming now, and let's assume it was approaching the island, a day or two before, everybody would get the houses battened up and
And go someplace.
most people would stay in their own houses. A lot of them would go to the schoolhouse, and where I am, I would never leave my house because of a hurricane, but only because water might come there. I'll go up by Joelle's house. I have done that twice, but I'll stay as far as the strength goes. I'll stay in mine as long as
You built your house out of
all
concrete.
stone, concrete
Stone,
blocks.
yeah. We have a Christian over here.
Yeah, just when did they start naming the hurricanes?
Gee,
In the
I-
60s. And they were, as you all know, quite a while they were only women. And the women objected. And now we have alternating men and women names.
I had a question.
Yes.
Oh, Uncle George, when you said during the hurricane, you all was up on top of the hill, right? All covered up, so you all didn't have no rain during that hurricane?
Yes.
And you all out on that rain?
I mean rain.
And wind. I mean,
Rain.
you were out on that, cause you said you all
But-
had blankets up.
But you see, because of the hill, it was almost high as that wall there,
I remember them.
and the steps down here. And on the lee of that, the wind was coming from the north and blowing this way, and it would go over you more than on you. It didn't come straight down. With the force of wind, it just blew. By the time it got over that hill, that ridge of the steps, it passed, you see, so we could stay there and don't get wet.
I mean, you still get soaked, but you covered up with.
No, you see, it was blowing too hard. The wind was blowing the rain over and away from us.
What was the noise like?
Noise?
Yeah, like the wind.
Man, roaring. One continual roar.
What about the eye of the storm? When it was quiet for when the central part of the storm came, and then my understanding is it shifted. The wind shifted. People had battened down on one side, the north side. Is that right? And then
Not in
then
19,
it turned around and came back at them the other side.
you're not talking 1932 now.
No?
Are you?
Yeah. That's what I read, but I could be wrong, or what I read could be
Anybody
wrong.
battened anything at that time?
A few people had apparently battened down, according to an article I have.
I don't know anything
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah,
Well,
but the wind did shift.
I don't remember everything about it.
You were 7.
I was only 7 years old, but I do remember what happened to me and mine.
Yeah.
What happened to the island's boats? Like your fishing community? What
Well-
happened with everyone's boats?
Some of the boats was put in black sand. We had a few boats lost too, small boats. But people knowing the weather by the barometers, giving us warning of some strong wind, someone took the boats in the harbors up in black sand and saved them like that, you know. But we did have a few boats missing, got lost.
Where did the Priscilla go?
Amazing.
Because I understand the Priscilla wasn't available at that time.
Wasn't here, must have been Oak County.
Well, I'm saying she didn't stand it there, she spent it somewhere else.
Yeah, she wasn't here.
But she was here the day before, I think, eh?
She was here the
Maybe,
day
yeah.
before.
Okay, but I just don't remember that.
We're trying to figure that out, you know, whether, I have a wonderful article here.
I think that was, it went to Oak Town.
This is an article by a man named Terence Keogh that was in Harper's Magazine of May of '33. And according to this, Captain Roberts, owner of this house, who had the Priscilla, brought this man on the Sunday before the storm to the island. And then he goes on, there's some wonderful descriptions, amazing, 11 pages, it was in Harper's. And it doesn't say whether Roland Roberts then turned around and left.
Right.
We don't know that, what happened to him and the Priscilla. We don't have any record of that. If there was anyone on the island who has family
Well,
stories that we
if,
might find out.
If the Priscilla was here, we probably would have,
Sailed it
known
away.
something about it, but I don't remember anything about what happened to it.
The bigger boat she was to.
He probably just dropped Keogh off here,
Yeah.
this man Terence Keogh, and
Mr. Floyd Lowe might know, because the man who wrote that article, he came here to invest in the shark fishing industry.
okay.
And he was not a professional writer. I found the original of that in Miami some years ago. It was misfiled. And it just said the Great Hurricane of '32. So I knew it had to be something special, so
Yeah.
that's where that came from.
Scott Lowe gave this
Yeah.
copy to me, and
We spread it out throughout the island.
and
But
it's,
Floyd would probably know.
we could ask him if Roland Roberts stayed here. I obviously can't tell you everything that is in here, but if you're interested in having a copy of this, I have permission to make copies, and for a small fee of a couple dollars, I could make some copies tomorrow for you and leave them here at the house if you're interested, because it's just amazing.